Have you ever witnessed an event so unexpected, so jarring, that it made you question your own senses? Maybe it was a car accident, a natural disaster, or something seemingly inexplicable. How do we know what's real when people experience the same event differently? In this video, we will explore parallel reasoning between eyewitness testimony and religious experiences. Imagine the pitter-patter of rain filling the air as you stroll down a quiet suburban street, your boots squishing on the wet asphalt. On your left, a silver-haired woman in a wide-brimmed hat tends to her rose bushes, the vibrant blooms glistening with raindrops. On your right, a young mother hums softly as she rocks her baby in a weathered rocking chair on a porch. As you approach the corner, a jogger in bright blue shorts and a yellow tank top runs towards you from the other side of the street. Suddenly, the screech of tires shatters the peaceful atmosphere. You remember the car entering the intersection on your right, driving too fast to stop. So when they threw on their brakes, their tires squealed loudly but could not stop in time. Another car approaching from behind you on your left entered the intersection because their light was green, and the two vehicles collided. Later in court, the attorneys for the accident investigation have asked that you, along with the three other witnesses, the older woman with the roses, the mother with the baby, and the jogger, testify. Each of you describes the events as you remember them to the best of your ability. But some details differ between accounts. For example, you and the older woman describe the car that ran the red light as being blue, whereas the mother and the jogger remember it being red. You and the jogger remember the car that was hit as being yellow, whereas the older woman and the mother recall it being green. The older woman remembers the car that ran the red light, honking its horn before the accident, but none of the other witnesses remember hearing a horn. The mother remembers the car that ran the red light, swerving before the collision, but none of the other witnesses could recall seeing it swerve. You remember the impact occurring in the middle of the intersection, but the jogger remembers it happening closer to the corner where you were standing. Due to these disagreements, Opistos, the attorney named representing the driver, who would be at fault for the accident, argues that there was no accident. He claims that because the witnesses cannot agree about the accident details, they must have colluded with the other driver to invent the accident and blame his client. Since each of the witnesses disagrees about the details of the accident, Opistos also disagrees, but just about one detail, that there was an accident at all. He accuses the witnesses of being either delusional or corrupt, and that the accident never really happened. Otherwise, they would have agreed about critical details. In response, the other attorney, Themis, argues that intense and emotional events can be difficult to recall in detail. Themis reasons that people often cannot remember all the details of significant life events, such as weddings, funerals, or traumatic experiences. However, the most important aspects of those events are retained in their memory. Studies have shown that memory may be inaccurate regarding car collision details, yet the memory that a car collision occurred is generally reliable. Themis argues that although the witnesses disagree on specific details of the accident, they all agreed on the accident's occurrence and who had the green light. He concludes that while the details can be further debated, the fact that an accident occurred is universally agreed upon by the witnesses. After listening to and considering this situation, my question for you is this: which attorney do you agree with, Opistos or Themis? Since the witnesses disagree about the details of the accident, should we act like the accident never happened? Now, what would happen if we were consistent with our answer and applied this reasoning to spiritual and religious domains? Throughout history and across cultures, most people have believed in a higher power or entity. This entity is often characterized as possessing great power, wisdom, and goodness. Many religious individuals report personal experiences with this entity, although their interpretations of its nature and intentions may differ. Despite these variations, the existence of this entity and the potential for communicating with it are generally undisputed among those who claim such experiences. While specific religious doctrines may be debated, the core experience of encountering a higher power transcends religious demarcation. So why would we argue about the commonalities of religious experience?